If insurance companies were consistently putting drivers first, why do states keep passing laws to control what they can and cannot do? That's not a rhetorical question, because across the country, lawmakers continue introducing new consumer protection laws involving repair choice, claims handling, appraisal rights, written explanations, steering practices, total loss disputes, and repair-related disclosures. And that should probably make every driver stop and ask an important question. What keeps happening to consumers that lawmakers feel the need to step in again and again? Because this issue affects ordinary people every single day after an accident. People who suddenly discover they may not have nearly as much control over the repair process as they thought they did. And before this video is over, I'm going to show you something that many drivers never realize until it's too late. Sometimes the biggest disagreement after a collision isn't between the customer and the repair shop, it's between a proper repair and cost control. Hey everybody, welcome back to another airing of grievances. My name is Eric Reamer. I'm with Nylund's Collision Center in Inglewood, Colorado. And today's topic came from a recent article published by Repairer Driven News discussing the proposed updates to the Texas Auto Consumer Bill of Rights. Now, at first glance, some people might hear that and think, oh, legal stuff, Texas politics, who cares? But the deeper issue here is extremely important because when states repeatedly pass laws involving insurance claim behavior, it raises a legitimate question. What keeps happening inside the claims process that lawmakers feel the need to keep adding consumer protections? And honestly, I think the answer is pretty simple. Most consumers have no idea what rights they actually have after a collision. Most people assume my insurance company will tell me what I need to know. But that assumption can become dangerous very quickly because after an accident, consumers are stressed, they're emotional, they're overwhelmed, they're trying to get back to work, they're trying to get their kids to school, they're trying to get transportation worked out. And meanwhile, they're suddenly dropped into one of the most complicated consumer transactions they've probably dealt with in years. And in that moment, whoever sounds authoritative often controls the direction of the claim. And that matters. Because insurance companies are not charities. They are businesses. According to the Insurance Information Institute, the property and casualty insurance industry handles hundreds of billions of dollars in claims annually. Collision claims represent an enormous expense category for insurers. That means insurance companies naturally create systems designed to control those costs. Now, let me be clear. That does not automatically mean insurance companies are evil. Many adjusters genuinely try to help people. Many claims are handled professionally, but systems create incentives, and sometimes those incentives conflict with what a vehicle manufacturer says that's necessary to properly repair a vehicle. And that's where these laws begin showing up. According to the Texas Department of Insurance Consumer Bill of Rights, drivers in Texas have the right to choose the repair shop that repairs their vehicle. The document specifically states that an insurer may not require repairs to be made at any particular shop. It also says insurers cannot require the use of particular replacement part suppliers or vendors. That's not my opinion. That's directly from the Texas Department of Insurance itself. Now, think about that for a second. Why does a state need to specifically clarify that consumers have the right to choose the repair facility? It's because apparently enough concern exists that lawmakers believe that consumers need explicit protection and education surrounding the issue. And Texas is not alone. Colorado consumer protection guidance warns insurers against coercing or intimidating consumers into using certain repair facilities. Washington State recently passed legislation involving appraisal procedures and dispute resolution procedures tied to auto claims. Across the country, states continue modifying laws involving claims handling, disclosures, appraisal rights, repair practices, and consumer protections. That pattern matters. In just a few minutes, I'm going to explain one phrase buried inside many insurance conversations that can completely shape the outcome of a repair claim. And most consumers never realize how important it is. One of the biggest misunderstandings drivers have today is that collision repair is mostly cosmetic. People think, it's just a bumper, it's just a fender, it's just paint. But modern vehicles are extraordinarily complicated. Today's vehicles contain radar systems, cameras, ultrasonic sensors, ADAS technologies, lane departure systems, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, emergency braking systems, and advanced structural materials. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, these systems play an increasingly important role in crash prevention and occupant safety. And manufacturers publish repair procedures for a reason, not because they're trying to inflate repair costs, but because modern vehicles are engineered systems. The vehicle is designed to perform in a specific way during a collision. The sensors are designed to operate with precise tolerances. The structural systems are designed to absorb and redirect crash energy in very specific ways. And when repairs happen incorrectly or improperly or incompetently, there can potentially be consequences beyond appearance alone. That's why the OEM procedures matter. Now, here's where things get complicated. Insurance companies often use phrases like reasonable repair cost or prevailing market rates. On the surface, those phrases sound completely reasonable. Of course, repairs should be reasonable. The problem is, reasonable according to whom? Because the vehicle manufacturer may say, this calibration is required. The repair facility may say, this scanning procedure is mandatory. The OEM documentation may require one-time use parts, destructive weld testing, structural measurements, electronic calibrations, or specific repair methods. Meanwhile, the insurance company may question whether the operation is necessary, whether the labor time is appropriate, whether aftermarket parts could be acceptable, or whether another method could cost less. Now, suddenly, the customer is caught in the middle of a disagreement that they're not technically equipped to evaluate. And this is exactly why consumer education matters. It's why this series matters. Because many drivers mistakenly assume if the insurance company approved it, it's got to be correct. But approval and correctness are not always the same thing. Approval simply means that someone agreed to pay for something. It does not automatically mean that the repair aligns with the manufacturer methodology. And honestly, most consumers don't discover that distinction until they're already deep into the process. Now, at this point in the conversation, there's a comment we see pretty regularly online. And honestly, I understand why consumers feel this way. Someone will say, I brought my car to a highly rated independent shop. Their estimate was $10,000. My insurance company only approved $4,000. The insurer told me that if I stayed at that shop, I'd owe the $6,000 difference myself. But if I moved the vehicle to one of their preferred shops, I'd only pay my deductible. So obviously, the independent shop was trying to rip me off. And I completely understand why that feels convincing to some consumers. Because from the customer's perspective, it sounds like one shop is wildly more expensive than everybody else. But here's the problem. Those two estimates are often not written using the same assumptions, and consumers usually never get to see that part of the conversation. In many cases, the independent repair facility may be writing the estimate based on OEM repair procedures, manufacturer documentation, required calibrations, scan operations, structural procedures, corrosion protection steps, one-time use parts, or repair operations that are intended to restore the vehicle to its original state. Meanwhile, the insurer's estimate may initially reflect what they're willing to approve at that moment in the claims process. They're not always the same thing. And, this is important, a lower estimate does not automatically prove fraud, just like a higher estimate does not automatically prove integrity. The real question is, what repair procedures are included, and which ones are missing? Think about it like building a large Lego set. Imagine two people are both trying to build the exact same model. One person follows the manufacturer instructions completely and uses every required piece exactly where it belongs. The other person decides, well, this piece probably isn't necessary. This support bracket won't really matter. Nobody will notice if we skip this section. From across the room, both finished models might look almost identical, but one may fit together differently. One may flex more than the other. One may loosen over time. One may not hold together properly under stress. And that's important because modern vehicles are engineered systems. Sometimes a repair operation that seems small to the consumer can affect the fit, structural performance, corrosion protection, sensor alignment, or safety system functionality later. That's why the conversation should not simply be which estimate is cheaper. The better question is which estimate more completely follows the manufacturer's repair requirements. Because in the collision repair world, the first estimate is often not the final estimate, especially on modern vehicles. Many repairs require disassembly before the full extent of the damage can even be identified. Additional structural damage may exist behind panels. Additional calibrations may become necessary. Additional OEM procedures may apply once the teardown begins. That's extremely common in collision repair. And sometimes what consumers interpret as this shop is just charging more is actually this shop may be accounting for more. Now, to be fair, not every independent shop is perfect. Not every insurer is wrong. Not every insurer partner shop cuts corners. But consumers should understand that preferred shop relationships exist partly because those shops agree to operate within certain insurer expectations involving process, pricing, cycle time, documentation, or claims management. Again, that does not automatically mean improper repairs are occurring, but it absolutely means that consumers should ask thoughtful questions instead of assuming cheaper automatically means equivalent. Because proper collision repair is not a commodity. And honestly, one of the biggest mistakes consumers can make is evaluating repair quality based only on the initial dollar amount, especially before the vehicle has even been fully disassembled. And there's another trend happening right now that I think consumers should understand. Over the past several years, many repair facilities around the country have noticed insurers writing increasingly smaller estimates compared to what it actually costs to repair the vehicles according to the OEM procedures. Years ago, it was common to see insurance estimates land somewhat closer to thorough repair plans written by quality shops. Maybe there were disagreements, maybe there were supplements later, but today, it's becoming increasingly common to see enormous gaps between what insurers initially approve and what proper repairs may ultimately require. And I'm not talking about tiny differences. Sometimes we're seeing insurer estimates come in at less than half of what it may eventually cost to properly repair the vehicle. In fact, this is happening in my own family right now. My son is dealing with a claim where the insurer's estimate is not even remotely close to what it actually costs to repair the vehicle correctly. And before someone says, well, maybe the shop is just overpriced, that's exactly the point of this entire conversation. Consumers are often encouraged to assume that the cheaper number must automatically be the honest number. But that assumption completely ignores what is actually included in the repair plan. Are OEM procedures included? Are calibrations included? Are scans included? How about those one-time use parts? Are corrosion protection operations included? How about structural procedures? Are those included? Those details matter because modern repairs are no longer just hammer it out and paint it. These vehicles are computers on wheels. And what concerns many repair professionals is not simply disagreeing over pricing. It's the growing gap between insurer cost control strategies and the increasing complexity of proper repairs. That tension is one of the major reasons that lawmakers continue stepping into those conversations, because consumers are being placed in the middle of increasingly technical disputes they are rarely equipped to fully evaluate on their own. And in a moment, I'm going to explain why one of the most common phrases consumers hear after an accident may actually discourage them from asking the questions that they should be asking. Another important point here is understanding who does what after an accident. Your vehicle manufacturer obviously designs the vehicle. Your insurance company writes and administers the insurance policy. Your repair facility performs the repair. Those are three separate entities with three separate priorities. The manufacturer prioritizes engineering, crashworthiness, and repair methodology. The insurer prioritizes contractual obligations and cost management. The repair facility is supposed to restore the vehicle properly and safely. Sometimes those priorities align beautifully. Sometimes they don't. And when they don't, consumers often find themselves confused about who they should trust. That's why these state protections continue evolving, because lawmakers recognize that there's often an information imbalance inside the claims process. The insurer understands the policy language, the repair shop understands the repair process, and the manufacturer understands the engineering. But you, the consumer? The consumer is usually trying to learn everything while standing in the middle of a stressful life event. Now, let's talk about one of the most dangerous phrases consumers hear right after an accident. Don't worry, we'll take care of everything. That sounds comforting, and emotionally, most people want to hear that. But sometimes that phrase unintentionally trains consumers to disengage from the process entirely. They stop asking questions. They stop researching. They stop reviewing repair documentation. They stop understanding what procedures are being performed or not performed. And unfortunately, some consumers later discover that they didn't fully understand what parts were used, what procedures were approved, what procedures were denied, or whether OEM recommendations were followed. It doesn't mean every repair is bad, because nobody has a greater interest in the long-term ownership of your vehicle than you do. The larger point of this video is not Texas updated some legal wording. The larger point is this: states keep adding consumer protections because collision claims continue becoming more technical, more complicated, and more financially pressured. Vehicles are evolving rapidly. Technology is increasing. Disputes involving repair procedures are increasing. And lawmakers continue responding to those realities by creating additional consumer rights, disclosures, and protections. And honestly, every time a state passes another consumer protection law involving insurance claim behavior, I think consumers should ask themselves a very simple question. What happened often enough that lawmakers believed this protection needed to exist? Because laws usually don't appear in a vacuum. They appear because patterns emerge. So, what should consumers do? First, understand that you have the right to ask questions. Second, ask whether the repair procedures are based on OEM documentation. Third, ask for explanations in writing when a disagreement occurs. And fourth, understand that choosing a repair facility is an important decision, not just a convenient decision. And finally, stay engaged in the repair process, because informed consumers make better decisions. And in today's collision repair environment, consumer knowledge matters more than ever. Now, if this video helped you better understand the collision repair process, share it with someone who drives. Because eventually, almost everybody experiences an accident or insurance claim at some point in life. And understanding your rights before that happens may dramatically affect what happens afterward. Thanks for watching another episode of the Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric. Happy Saturday to you, and I'll see you again next week.